I know a lot of artists in that same position here. They sort of come over and they get stuck in that franchise sort of setup, and it's because they're tied in with a visa. They're not allowed to earn money anywhere else.
Wow. Yeah, they got these contracts.
Yeah, and it's like,
that's crazy.
It's sad, and they're taking, they're getting paid, 30%, 35%.
Right. I heard it was like fucking 10 or 20.
Yeah, you start off on like 10 and 20, but the senior artists are tattooing 8, 10 years, too. Surrealism.
Crazy pieces. Yeah,
getting paid like 30% of their job. Which is like
nuts.
not even minimum wage up doing 5 full days in a week.
Yeah,
they're not even getting by. So it's criminal.
What up, therapy fam? You know where we at? We are in Australia with my guy Jack from Neon Pineapple Studios. You want to plug your studio in? You want to give them some information?
So Neon Pineapple in Adelaide, right in the CBD there. Little cute private studio. Everyone fucking loves it. Great place. I'm not sure if I can swear or not. So
no, you're good, bro. Fuck everybody. No. No. We're tattoo artists, bro. Of course we can cuss and do all of that stuff. So
it just comes out.
Yeah. We're like sailors, bro.
That's it.
So Jack, man, I really appreciate you, bro. You've been super hospitality while I've been here, man, helping me with like anything I needed at this tattoo show. So, man, you've been super helpful. So I definitely wanted to get you on the podcast to talk about, tattooing here in Australia.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
Yeah. No, it's been a journey. I'm one of the COVID tattooers, I guess you would say. Probably like a lot of us here at the expo now. I used that time to change my life. I was a sales professional and everything went to shit. The whole world was going to shit. So it was actually my wife that was like, "Oh, just chase your dreams. Go and do what you want to do."
Man,
5 years later, here I am. This is my 3rd expo this year. I've got another event next weekend. I'm also up as a pro artist in Melbourne with Aftercare Collective. So it's been a pretty hectic year. I don't think I'll do as many next year, to be honest. But it's been a lot of traveling. But maybe limit it down a little bit there.
So it's good to have a partner that supports your vision.
Definitely. Yeah. I found that probably just having someone that, even though it doesn't even have to be a partner, just someone that believes in you, having someone there that really gave me the belief in myself to be like, you know what? You believe I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this. And that helped me just push me over the edge. And it was a bit of a struggle, giving up the big sales paycheck was probably the hardest thing. And I don't think I'll ever see that as a tattoo artist, but it's not about that. I feel much richer now than I've ever been.
Yeah. And a lot of the thing about being rich is not about the money. It's about the happiness.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm realizing that as well, because I gave up a construction job. I was pipe fitting, welding and all of that. And it was a good paycheck, but it wasn't fulfilling to like the soul, what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know that all too well.
That's what I get with like tattooing. People are like, why would you travel all the way across the world to tattoo at a convention in Australia?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to get any money back? Is it an investment?
Yeah.
And it's not about that. It's really, for me, it's priceless.
Yeah.
Everything I do now is all about how happy can I be?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you got to chase that happiness 100%.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Yeah. Yeah. I remember being in that office and just being so like, apart from payday was the only day I was happy.
Right. That's
every other day I was just like, oh, this sucks. And drinking a lot and just trying to forget, everything else. And so if you're thinking about doing anything like that, just take the plunge, jump off, quit your job, do it. Go and do what you want to do.
I get so proud when I hear people like say they become like a full-time artist.
Yeah.
Or like a full-time entrepreneur chasing their dreams or doing whatever entrepreneurial job that they're thinking about doing. They just do it.
Yeah.
Because like it's scary at first.
Yeah.
Taking that plunge, taking that jump, it is scary.
Yep.
But I see so many people work so hard for like other people's businesses.
Yeah, making other people rich.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
And then imagine if you put all that effort into something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Imagine, and if it doesn't work, there's all these jobs out there that are willing to like take you back. You can do all those jobs.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Still, they're not going nowhere.
It's sort of set up in a way to make you feel like you got to do it. But, when you think about it, just like you laid it out there, and you don't. You can leave, go do what you want to do. Fails. There's always shit to do. There's
Yeah,
always jobs.
always something there.
There's always something there. Like, yeah. What we
So
don't have is the time. That's the
no,
one thing we don't.
we
Yeah.
don't have time, bro.
Yeah.
That's an important fact. We don't have time.
Yeah.
And I think time is one of the most valuable things that we have.
Yeah. 100%. And I think you're a little bit younger than me. I'm assuming that I'm almost
43.
I know.
Yeah.
You're doing well, man. I'm almost 40. Um, so yeah. So I mean, we're in the similar sort of age range, and I think when you get to this sort of age, this is when you really do start thinking about those things in life.
Right.
You don't. You know, we're not that young, crazy guy anymore, but we're also not that super old, retiree. Like we've got that window in front of us, and it is only a window.
Right.
So,
it's only a window.
Yeah. Chase those smiles and chase those dreams. So.
Yeah. So at your studio, do you have any other artists or apprentices or anything?
Yeah. So we have 2 resident artists. So I'm a resident artist, and we also have Maycat Tats. She specializes in a lot of like neo trad and floral, lots of like colorful stuff.
Oh wow!
And then Tom, the owner of the studio, who I'm here representing SA with, he specializes in like pin-ups and does a lot of like dinosaurs and anime sort of stuff.
That's cool.
And myself, I do a lot of like gothic, traditional, American trad, you know, very dark, sort of bold stuff as well.
No, it's fun though. It looks cool.
Yeah, thank you.
You can't go wrong with trad.
That's
you can't
it.
go wrong.
That's it. That's it. Trad is where it's. I want to do those sort of tattoos that I remember seeing when I was a kid. You know, those old like the daggers and the pants, the ones that made you go, like, oh, whoa, like
they're badass.
Yeah, they're badass. Yeah.
No,
so,
you can't go wrong with that. Yeah, the traditional. See, I love traditional and Japanese.
Yeah.
Like traditional tattoos. Yeah.
I like putting
they don't
in.
go old. They never age.
Nah, they don't. And you can like put in like I do a lot of like sometimes I'll do like a trad piece and I'll do like some little trad clouds behind it, like fusing the styles together a little bit. And I really love that mixing up of the styles. And that's a cool thing. There's no like. But some people say there's rules. At the end of the day, we're drawing pictures on skin. You know, it's gonna look good. It's gonna look bad. It's really quite obvious.
Right.
You can do any rule mixing it together. It doesn't matter. You know, as long as it looks good at the end of the day and the client likes what they've gotten and they're happy, that's what it's about.
That's all it's about. As long as the client's happy.
Exactly.
So I know there's a lot of different rules and regulations about apprenticeships.
Yep.
In America, we have each state is different.
Yep.
How is it here in Australia for apprenticeships?
Yeah, good question. So it's very similar in terms of state being different. So where I am in South Australia, it's a matter of registering with the business consumer. It's like the government department. And they essentially do a background check, make sure that, you know, I'm not involved with, or anyone tattooing is not involved with, you know, any organized crime or bikies, which is, we did have a bit of a problem with bikies owning studios here about 20 years ago.
So bikers?
Yeah, so biker clubs, like outlaw clubs. And it was just, you know, a way that they essentially clean their money back in the day. Has been stamped out a lot, but because those rules and regulations were put in, they just sort of never really been taken off. So they're quite strict in SA, and they're also quite strict up in Queensland. That was probably the biggest spot around the bikie issue when it comes to tattooing. So you got to do a lot of extra schooling in Queensland, a bloodborne pathogen course, and police checks and that sort of stuff as well.
Okay, cool. So how long does it take for an apprentice to become a artist, a licensed artist?
Great question. So typically it's 4 years here.
Wow.
It can be shorter or longer depending on your skills and where you're at. I actually finished mine in about 3.5 years, purely just because of my age and where I was at, and I was just the level of tattoos I was doing. I was in a street shop, doing, you know, 5 to 10 tattoos a day, every day, you know, right from the start. So it was hard yakka.
Right.
Wouldn't ever go back to something like that again. Street shop, probably not for me, but I think it's a really good start for an apprentice. It you know, pushes you off the deep end. You're going to be doing tattoos on the fly that you wouldn't even think of. You've got 10 minutes to design it.
Yeah.
you've got to draw it on the thermal paper. And then on top of that, you've got to deal with the same thing we all deal with. Printers not working, machines not working, other colleagues, you know, ink. So yeah, there's a little bit of politics and balancing involved, just like any workplace.
Yeah. I definitely that's how I started my apprenticeship in the street shop, and everything was thrown at me early on. And I think that just helped me become the artist who I am today. It's like, you know, at this convention, everyone's coming up with everything that they could possibly come at you with, and they want it right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, you gotta do it.
And it's either make or break at that point. Some people just crumble and like, oh no, I can't do it. And if you've been in that street shop and hustled like that, you're like, fuck yeah, I've got this.
Yeah.
You know, give me 5 minutes, come back.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the beauty of this job, you know, like you were saying, at the end is all about doing a tattoo that makes the client happy.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. Speaking to someone about tattooing a long time ago, and he was a tattoo artist as well, and he said something I'll never forget. He goes, we don't sell art, we sell a feeling. And ever since I heard that, I'm like, oh shit, that's the tattoo is just a byproduct of that feeling on the day, you know, that, and it makes a lot of sense once I heard that. I'm like, it's a very special statement.
That is a very special statement, man. It is a feeling, and a lot of people are chasing feelings, you know, and we're providing that. And that's a beautiful thing. I don't take that lightly. You know, tattooing has provided me a great life. Provided me a great life. And like, I like to try to give back to tattooing because it's given me so much, you know. I reach back to my artists quite often, you know, just to tell them like, man, I appreciate everything you've done for me because you provided me such a great life. And, you know, you didn't close the doors. So do you think there's a lot of gatekeeping here in Australia?
There was, and I think that's what COVID really opened up. COVID, it was, I think it was just a matter of everyone being locked up, you know, buying the shitty Amazon machines. But it really opened up people talking about tattooing and seeking that information. And at the same time, and while it's not great, it allowed some franchise companies, which we have a little bit of a problem with franchise studios here in the country. But to start setting up shop, putting that corporate side to it, because there was just a gap in the market, essentially. And that's what corporate's always going to look at doing, and that's what they're going to try and do. So
I see that. And that's happening kind of worldwide. There's like these like companies that are franchises. And I think there's one called Cleopatra Inc. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
I have heard of Cleopatra.
And they're like doing these like visa things where they're like bringing in artists from outside the countries in different countries and providing them visas. And they're like working these crazy hours for like low wages. In order to get a visa.
I know a lot of artists in that same position here. They sort of come over and they get stuck in that franchise sort of setup, and it's because they're tied in with a visa. They're not allowed to earn money anywhere else.
Wow. They get these contracts.
And it's like,
that's crazy.
It's sad, and they're taking, you know, they're getting paid, you know, 30%, 35%.
Right. I heard it was like fucking 10 or 20.
Yeah, you start off on like 10 and 20, but the senior artists been tattooing for 8-10 years, do surrealism.
Crazy pieces.
Getting paid like 30% of their job. Which is like
nuts.
not even minimum wage up doing 5 full days in a week. You know, they're not even getting by. So it's criminal. But it is only a matter of time before, you know, it's like a cycle. Everything's in a cycle. So come back and go back. And one thing that, going back to what you were saying about speaking to your artists, is that's what the franchises don't have, and that's what they don't do. Because it's a cold business side. You know, they weren't reaching out to artists and talking to people about, you know, about progressing. They just care about.
It's all about the dollar.
It's about the dollar. Whereas, where I'm at the moment, Tom, who's the studio owner where I'm at, he cares. You know, I speak to him about stuff, and he understands what it's like as an artist.
Right.
And that's what makes it so much easier to approach and to discuss things and to plan things and just to feel good about where you're at.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to feel good where you're at.
Yeah.
And honestly, me, like at my shop, like, if my team isn't doing good, then how can I do good? How can I feel like I'm doing good? So like, it's all about trying to make everybody around you feel good and feel like they're doing a good job and feel like they're succeeding in this. And, you know.
It's the old saying is the high tides rise all boats. So it's the same thing. Got to bring up everyone together.
Got to bring them all up. Got to bring them all up. Well, Jack, man, I normally end up each podcast with this question. So my final question to you would be, if you could go back into the future and tell your younger self that was thinking about getting into tattooing, what advice would you give them?
So great question. I actually know the specific times. I was about 12 and I was into art a lot. And I used to remember at school, I didn't do a lot of school work, to be honest. I was, you know, fucking around a lot at school, but I used to trace these pictures on the windows, put them up in the window and trace his pictures.
Yeah.
And at the time, computers were actually become, similar age. Computers weren't that popular when we were in primary school. They were sort of becoming more popular around that time, and I got into like graphic design. And I remember going home one day telling my mum, I want to be an artist. And I showed her my pictures, and I remember my mum looking at me and going, "Oh no, you don't want to be an artist. You won't make any money." And at that time, I was like, I was so young. I was very impressionable, so I was like, "Oh, okay," and I just stopped drawing.
Wow.
I was like, okay, and I moved on to other things, but feel like I missed that sort of 20-year gap. From like, if I would have had a 20 years head start into the industry. So I guess, not listening to my mum would be the thing that I would say, at that age anyway, which is probably not the best advice, but in my case, yeah.
No, that's real, because, our parents have a big impact on our lives.
Yeah.
My mom, she was super supportive of me doing the art, but finding a career, I really wanted to go to art college. I'm glad I didn't go to art college, but I really wanted to go to art college. I ended up going into the military, and that kind of like held me back as an artist as well for a while. But I feel that.
I feel like it would be hard to be like a military man and a creative man at the same time.
Yeah, it's very hard, bro.
It's very rigid and structured, and you can't let those creativity juices flow. Right. So it's good that you've done a full circle and you're back to it,
bro. Back at it.
Love it.
So, when did you find tattooing? Because, like you said, like you had that 20-year gap.
Yeah.
I've
always been interested. Like I got tattooed when I was 16, purely because there was a studio in Adelaide that I found out would tattoo me. So I got really excited. I went down there. I got a stupid tattoo on my back, which is covered up now. But I've always been into tats. So I got another one when I was 18, and then I was sort of collecting around. It was the fact that I was also playing a band, and we engaged someone to do our band art. We paid them, and they did a terrible job.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I can do this. So I bought an iPad and I started drawing it up, and just one thing led to another. I had the drummer in my band actually was the one that said, "Oh, you should tattoo me." So I did this fine line circle, which is probably more of a wobbly egg than a circle.
Of course,
And he chose it to fuck with me. He knows that's one of the hardest things to do. And since then I've just haven't looked back. I lose every tattoo is a chance to learn something for the next tattoo. And it's one of those things. So you're never going to master. You're just going to get better and better and better and better and better.
Yeah, I feel that. I like what you said to me earlier, because we were like talking about our tattoos. I was like, I'm like the worst critic about my tattoos, but you're like, if you're ever like okay with your work and you're like, I'm the best tattoo artist, and there's like, that's a problem.
That is a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, nah. You got to look. It's like, you got to look at it and be honest with yourself about what you can learn from it. And it's good to pick up those little things. The client's not going to notice those little tiny wobble or the little, the fact that you've used like, a 7-round liner instead of an 11-round liner at one part, or, but you're going to remember that. You're going to set up and remember that. But that next time you're faced with that, you're going to remember that moment, and it's just going to like give you a bigger toolkit every time just to create fucking awesome art for these awesome people.
Right. I think every mistake or everything that we do, we're always learning. Yeah. And that's the only way to get better is just, keep doing it. Keep getting, all these different experiences to get better. The more you do it, the better you'll get.
And I guess it's those artists that do think, oh, I've got this, I'm the top shit. They're the ones that typically will outblame those problems with the tattoo. Oh, the client was moving a lot. Oh, the skin was shit. Oh, like,
that's crazy.
It's you. Like, just be honest, it's fucking you. Like, so
Right. Well, Jack, thank you so much, man. Thank you for your time.
No, welcome
and
to
your
Australia,
hospitality.
Man. No, welcome. Very glad you're here.
It's been fun. Yo, thank y'all for tuning in. This has been a therapy session. Make sure you like and subscribe. Whenever you need some therapy, we got you. Peace.